What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Cult DeFi. This is the channel where we bring you the latest and greatest in innovations in tech in decentralized finance, more specifically on Pulse-Chain, even more specifically in the Dev Jacob ecosystem on Pulse-Chain. Tonight, we have a very special stream. We have a guest with us, and today is his birthday, and he has decided to share that time with us. So we need to be very thankful for all of that. Very clued up guy, knows exactly what he's talking about. Bit of a wordsmith, and I love that, and I mean that in the best compliment way that I can. There's some big things happening in Mafia, right? We know that we have the map update, which is coming. So we're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing the exchange and exactly what that means, because we've already seen a hell of a lot of action with that literally in the last 24 hours. And so I expect things are going to be heating up quite a bit. There are a lot of new things happening. Even yesterday when I was on with Richie, if you haven't seen that, go replay gang, go and watch that stream from yesterday. Richie was more on the BNB side, and he has a very long-term play for all this, very long-term vision. I know a lot of people sort of get into Mafia because they think immediately about how much can I earn, what can I earn playing this game, and they think of it really just as another crypto protocol. But there are some people out there, like Richie, like myself, and like our guest tonight, who really look at this like a long-term vision. This is not only good for making money, this is good for Pulse-Chain, this is good for crypto in general. And what a great onboarding tool that we have to be creating a real metaverse with the opportunity to play almost constantly, right? I mean, you can literally touch this game as much or as little as you want, and you can earn from it all the time. It's absolutely perfect, absolutely perfect. So without any further ado, I will bring on our guest here right now. It is MoonDog. How you doing, brother? Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I appreciate it. Love and
another
light.
Year older, hopefully another year wiser.
Hopefully, if I can integrate the experiences that I have had, because you mentioned my wordsmithery, so the technical definition that I will offer for people for the word wisdom, because that's one of those terms that's ambiguous and we all like to use, but sometimes it's hard to pin down exactly what people mean. So to give you an offering of a framework to build on for your own wise guy usings, you have experience. If you integrate that experience well, and it allows you to level up, power up, be able to have more access in the open sandbox game of life that we're playing, then you have successfully refined that experience into wisdom. So that is my offering.
Perfect. I like that.
Anyways, how are things with you, Colt? How's everything going?
Everything is going good. I really have to say everything is going good. There's been, ever since we've been really, when map was announced, really. I mean, I have a worksheet that I work through, all the people I'm touching, all the prospects I'm touching, all the opportunities that are available to try and onboard people to Mafia. And as soon as we knew map was coming, I was like, okay, time to shift gears and knock on all those doors of people that said, okay, when the map is ready, we can talk again, and having some really good conversations. I know I touched with you as well about a guy that I was talking to that literally crypto gaming is their thing.
Yeah.
They've already done the DeFi thing. They've already done, and they're still in DeFi and all that sort of thing. But crypto gaming is really their wheelhouse right now. And there's a big group of them, and they have a huge presence, and they're all very smart guys. And good things are happening. Good things are happening. I mean, I have to say, good things are happening. Map is nearly here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not quite there yet, but just another few days. But we had the exchange.
Yep.
Recently. What do you think about that? Let me know your thoughts about that. You made some waves yourself this morning. My time this morning, anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, right at midnight, it was my birthday, and so I went ahead and there are some keys that I've been needing to get anyways, and I'm born on 12/12, so 1200 seemed like a good amount to go ahead and pull to get ready for the map coming out, which is coming out sooner than I know a lot of people were anticipating. It's catching a lot of people. Well, there's those people who are of course win map since whenever, because they don't have anything else to do. But a lot of us that have other things going on in life, and even some of the professionals in the gaming industry, based off of their ideas of how long it might take to roll out these kind of updates, some people were kind of caught on their haunches a little bit. So first of all, good job with that, Jacob, and because keeping the community, from being able to game it in that way, just it helps to keep it interesting, keep it fun. Plus, again, right in time for the holidays. Um, looking at I got my sights set on Miami. So you mentioned that there's a lot of people that you've been talking to, and the map is a great avenue or channel to be able to start having those conversations. For my birthday, I've got a crew here with me. I've actually got, at least 3 dons of 3 new families, plus a couple of gearheads here in the room with me. I think one of
Hang
them.
on, let me pause you there.
Yeah.
Right. Just so people can, just to reiterate for people, you've got 3 new dons of 3 new families sitting in the same room with you right now.
Yep.
That is alpha news. Alpha news.
Yeah, they're some of my favorite people in the world, and one of my other favorite people in the world is the reason that I'm here to begin with in the Mafia protocol. I've got a lot of things going on, and I'd actually even I've been aware of crypto for a while, but I had even put it on the back burner to wait for it to develop a little bit so that I could do some other things and then circle back. COVID happened and got back into crypto, got back into, awesome community, Pulse Chain community. But Crypto Kool-Aid was the one who reached out to me and gave me the heads up on the Mafia protocol because I have so many things going on right now. I am a forefather first, so literally 3 boys, baby girl, spirit guide mostly, pretty flexible otherwise. So some other time maybe we can do some of those cool, not unboxing videos, but we'll call it collector's corners or stuff, because I got, the Pokemon cards, the metal magic cards, cool art, rare collector books, just all these little trinkets and treasures that I've kind of hoarded throughout the years, that I actually plan on. That the funny thing is, like, they have value, but the values they have to me is more sentimental than the monetary values they have. And I plan on using a lot of those treasures that I've collected throughout the years, both the physical assets and my experiences and the people, which is, the most golden of my little dragon sword, the most valuable of the assets, to cross-pollinate and to bring into this. Just starting with, you mentioned long-term vision. I have a book in real estate that I got a plaque from Amazon saying best-selling author or whatever. But regardless of that, if you actually read my portion, my contribution to it, I talk about how real estate is just a tool to free up people's time in order to be able to build the life that they want, to have freedom to, access to the resources to be able to, again, play the game the way that they choose versus getting stuck in the default rat race that so many of us are conditioned into. And basically, just there's a huge meta game of manufactured consent that was being born like generations before any of us existed, that we're all pushed into. So the people who aren't willing to stay vigilant and or curious to fight back against that, they're just gonna, go one way. And then those of us in crypto are out here doing something else, on the bleeding edge, and paying for it in different ways. I kind of lost my train of thought there a little bit. I was talking about new onboards, cross-pollination, assets, communities. Yeah, so those families, that the individuals. So I'm going to focus on the people that I know in real life. I have traveled to meet, some of the I've met at least a couple of. I met a Don that's going to remain nameless. Whenever I went to the hearing in New York for Richie's case, and there was one there who, I'm going to express gratitude to privately later, because I actually got something right before we got on stream that was a great present, and I appreciate. And then who else? Oh yeah, there's been some other people, but this place has this protocol. So I'm going to circle back to this. I'm a forefather first, so I got 3 boys, baby girl, and I'm looking at the tools that I can give them, the toolkit that I can give them in order to live the lives that they want to live. And crypto has so many advantages to it, alongside being able to operate within the regular system, but not being dependent on the defaults that everybody's conditioned to. And this protocol specifically has it has so much care that's put into it, in the development.
It does. It really does.
It's bigger than most people understand, in multiple ways. And I will tangent off but the fact that it's so let's start with this. One thing that I'm not sure everybody realizes fully yet is that the ideation that's being put forth here, even beyond all the other layers of it, is a social validation layer for blockchains. So specifically on Pulse Chain and BNB now, but the development team is already staying tuned with CCIP, looking at the chain link, the cross development interplays that's going to be able to not only exist on multiple chains, but to interoperate across multiple chains, to have cross
Yeah,
functionality.
that's crazy. I'm really looking forward to that myself. Yeah,
It's huge
that
step
is
up in
massive.
basis. Yeah, it's game changer. So you know, you want to talk about Richard, like talk about Richard's law, or Hart's law, sorry, liquidity bonding, or assets that are paired together, they're bonded together. You know, once we're bonding chains together, a lot of the narratives around parity or ratios, bonded ratios, because something could be bonded at a 10-to-1 ratio, like a dime is to a dollar, and they're not necessarily at parity, but they're still bonded to a ratio. A lot of those are going to be more accessible once we enter into that phase of crypto, which is coming. It's coming fast. But even beyond that, so the fact that he's been able to successfully integrate it into integrate DeFi, good DeFi practices, access to smart contracts, things that you would want to do in order to be able to move your financial assets around amongst people that you know, within a family, within friends, within a community. However, and wrap that into a game wrapper to help people understand it a little bit better. Because the thing is, crypto, it's kind of like real estate. A lot of people are interested, but if you're not speaking in a language, or not even necessarily a language, but a dialect that they're familiar or comfortable with, then they're gonna their eyes are gonna glaze over, and most people are uncomfortable with admitting that they don't know something, or so a lot of times the pride or the ego or something, they'll check out, and it'll actually, you'll miss the opportunity to have a genuine exchange there. But if we can get, if you can build a bridge to where there's actual exchange happening in your dialogue, and you're not just having a conversation where two people are talking past each other, you're more likely to be able to affect those people with ideas to where their behavior could, you know, help them in the long run. And so the gaming aspect of that is it's a Rosetta Stone. It's probably the most, you know, simple way to put it, because it takes crypto principles and it translates it into a way that, of course, you know, Zoomers and millennials, those of us that grew up with consoles and the internet, are going to be intuitively familiar with, at a way that is even beyond a lot of people's verbal comprehension and articulation. Because there's, Jordan Peterson talks about Piaget and the study of the psychology of kids when they learn play. When kids are playing together, if you pull the kids out and ask them what are the rules, they're going to be able to cooperate effectively before they're going to be able to fully articulate what it is that they're doing. Of course, as adults, we like to give so much value to our higher level reasoning skills and how smart we are, and also our titles and all this stuff that we've invested our security on in the system of, anyways, matrix, which actually is a womb if you go down the etymology, but I won't go down that right now. Matrices are, here's a fun Snapple fact. So I went to West Point, and I was in an advanced math modeling differential equation class, and it's a freshman class. So we had recruit athlete who just is, you know, good at math, but worn out by the extra load. So he tries to pull the, when are we ever going to use this? Like a lazy high school. And okay, we're at an Ivy League military, you know, professional officers and people that are coming there. And this kid pulls the laziest, when are we ever going to use this stuff, to try to bullshit the teacher, who was who, by the way, she was a female doctorate in her 20s. So to be working at West Point and already have the credentials, she's not some fucking pushover. Our next class was in the auditorium. We had an NSA agent come in and basically give us a pre-recruitment speech. But what he was telling us was how the math modeling matrices that we were using was the exact way that they translate brainwaves, alpha, beta, theta, gamma, etc., to a readable binary code to interact, basically to interact biological beings with digital. So he showed us how they were planting microchips and remote controlling mice and doing all this other crazy weird shit. And that was 15 years ago. And anyways, but math modeling matrices, I triggered someone in chat the first day I came in with the word modeling, but we won't go down that rabbit hole right now. What Jacob has done with wrapping this up in a way to where people can engage and be interested and learn over time, and to continue to participate in a way that's more healthy psychologically, especially, that's not looking at a chart, that's not, you know, it's something that even when you're playing a game, there's inherently an entertainment and community aspect to it. So, you know, there is the financial incentive. You want to be financially responsible, but even if you were, you know, I guarantee you, there are going to be players in here who are riding neutral or nil or breaking even the whole time, and they're going to consider their time or experience in the game of a massive value or benefit beyond the monetary, because of the people that they meet, because of the ideas that they're exposed to, because of the other things that they come in contact with. This protocol's value is going to be exponentially compounded by the player experience. And that's why I have acted the way that I have in reflecting some of the cesspoolery that's in the chats a little bit. I came in trying to be a nice guy, and I got kind of smacked on the nose like a little puppy, which it's fine. I'm a big boy. I'm tough. I can handle it. But what concerns me is I'm maybe a little bit more familiar with where those types of behaviors can snowball and roll and lead to, the type of opportunities that can be missed, the type of people that can be pushed out, the type of people that won't even be interested if they basically come in and see a bunch of, you know, teenagers fucking comparing dick sizes, whether literally or otherwise. I get it. This is a mafia game protocol. Here's a clue, guys. Real fucking gangsters aren't out on the street having to beat their chest that they're a fucking gangster. Like those are your schoolyard gangsters that are trying to make their way. There was a Dawn meeting at one time where I remember one of the Dawns had said something to the effect of, "Hey guys, we're all Dawns here. We have other people to do, you know, the less gentlemanly things, but I will advocate within a mafia protocol that maybe some people reconsider their ideas of what it means to be a gangster, maybe consider things that, you know, will enhance the overall player experience of people wanting to be here and to be engaged, and that their time is well spent, because you're going to your assets are going to be more valuable if we all play that way." So I talked a lot. I'm going to let you steer me in another direction now, because I don't know where I'm at.
That's okay. That's okay. I just want to say this is a bit out of the norm for me on these streams, but it is your birthday, so cheers to you.
Boom.
I'll crack open a beer with you.
Cheers. Boom.
Cheers. Very tasty. No, I mean, I absolutely agree with you, right? When you talk about wrapping this game up, one of the things which I've been saying about this game from the beginning, I mean, this game can be a crash course into crypto.
Yep.
For people, right? It has pretty much everything that crypto protocols have, right? You know, it has its tokens, it has its staking, it has its burning, you know, it has different ways to ROI. You know, it has, like I say, it has staking, it has yield, it has NFTs, it has NFT marketplaces. If people really approach this, like you say about the age category, right? I mean, obviously this is a game, so we're probably going to be looking at people on the slightly younger, the younger side of things. But those I don't want to say kids. I mean, I don't want to talk anybody down, but you know, the younger side of people, they probably won't have the finances that some of the other guys have, right? You know, so people have been in the game for a while. You know, people in their, you know, their late 20s or, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is, people who are coming around. But it doesn't matter what age. If you're in crypto and you know you're thinking about playing this game, you kind of already know why you're here. You know why you're here. You know what you want to achieve out of this. Whether it literally it is, okay, I just want to rob a bank all day long, you know, and just ROI that way. Or if I want to get really immersive on the social part, like literally you just said, you know, I want to jump into the telegrams and argue with people or not argue with people. Right, but it is true. I do have to say, I have spoken to some people that said, "Yeah, I've had a look and I jumped into telegrams, and what the hell is going on in there?" You know, people have said that to me, and but at the same time,
it's been worse than that. We've had people who were excited that got unexcited before we've even got to launch because of the way they've been treated. And so you have to ask yourself, is the role play really helping the protocol at that point, or are you stroking your own ego? So, by the way, said a word that reminded me of something that's actually really critical. One of the things that I don't think I fully got to because I tangented off, social validation layer. So the vault is, everybody understands physical validators. You have physical hardware, it pays you out in the base chain yield. If you have a friend that wants to get into earning base chain yield through validation, but maybe they don't, if they're techie, cool, go set up as many server rooms as your heart desires. Not all your friends are probably that techie or, just that inclined. It's not even a matter of competency. It's just a matter of caring enough to learn to want to. I bet most people could do it. It's just it's not their interest. They're not interested enough, so they're not going to be able to get themselves over the initial friction. So say you got a social butterfly for a friend, those people are occasionally, helpful to have in one's life, I've heard. You can introduce them to a protocol where they can earn base yield, and we have multiple chain distribution here, but through social validation, they're earning the base chain yield instead of through a physical validator, but through the behaviors that are being incentivized by the underlying gaming protocol. So the vault, by paying out in base yield, it's providing social validator nodes, and this is just one iteration. But again, if this goes exponential, there's just within the game, and then beyond that, plus there's the future proofing. We already mentioned the cross-chain compatibility that we're looking at here. He already has a lot of the DeFi, which is the essentials of crypto, because not all crypto is good for you guys. I mean, there's a lot of our biggest adversaries, the ones who want to put you into the push you through the meat grinder, they all want you to get into crypto. I mean, they trust me, like the banks, it's going to be easier for them to have digital currency to do what they're doing, as long as it's their digital currency with their admin keys, et cetera, et cetera. But DeFi is not. It's a there was a time where you could say crypto and you could just assume that it was a bunch of pirates. It wasn't necessarily the corporate gangsters that were going to murder you. But now there's it's subsections. You've got the corporate hitmen. You've got the pirates that were still trying to fight for self-sovereignty and the ability to live our own lives over here in DeFi. At another point, so there was. Anyways, let's talk about the exchange, because I think that was interesting to me. It's really interesting to me. What's been happening to it? I'm curious of your thoughts on the exchange.
Okay, well, let's jump into the chat first, right?
Yeah,
because I can see there's a bunch we need to catch up on, right? So Zanon was here. He said good day. He said happy birthday, MoonDog. There we go. That's the first person to say happy birthday. Francisco Lambert says mafia, mafia, mafia. We got Crypto Fury in the house. How you doing? Ciao. He says ciao, mobsters. We've got Julian is here. Happy birthday, MoonDog. Right?
Thank you.
Crypto Furio again. Happy birthday, sir. Red Squirrel is here. Red Squirrel. I think this might be the first time. Yeah, I think this might be the first stream you've been on, or at least you commented on. And I think it might be because I was actually chatting to him yesterday, in DMs yesterday. Don Lucky says hello. Right. Julian says some cash is in the exchange waiting for your next purchase. Right. We will definitely get to that. I think that's absolutely we had some craziness today. He says, I now know why I like you, MoonDog. Don Lucky, right? There we go. Max Payne's in the house. Max Payne says Miami. He really wants to know about Miami. It was this Bob Tilladahun. I love this guy. I've been preaching this since day one. There we go. Look at that. There's a lot of love for you today.
Shout out to Bob Tilla.
Yeah, CDS is real. That was 4 months ago. We're past that now.
And happy birthday to his eldest.
Another happy birthday. Jacob is here. Jacob, thanks very much for being there, Chief. Happy birthday, MoonDog, from the big man.
Thank you.
Max Payne says, "Dear Lord, what about Miami? Happy birthday!" and Lucky again. To be honest, I'm guilty of responding to the noise. That is true. But your view is spot on. There is definitely a time and a place for the fuckeries, but it should be limited.
Yeah, now, I'm under no illusion that this is crypto, and some of us are gonna make a profession out of this. But I'm under no illusions that this is a professional space. It's there's gamers in here. But that's what I would hope that everybody else could. Sometimes just take a moment to step back. Like I play the games too, but do an after action report with yourself at least. Like, are you being effective at the point that you're trying to drive? Are you being counter effective? Because there's a time and a place for the role play. One of our guilds is literally going to be a Dungeons and Dragons Dimension 20 live action role play gain cross-pollination type of guild family that we're going to use and integrate into this protocol. In this protocol with characters, you can treat them multiple ways. You can treat them with your own personal ego identity invested into a character and treat it as a trophy or an asset, or you can create characters and trade them up like trading cards. So if you have people that have shared values within a protocol or a system, and you guys are able to buff a card or a skill tree or things in certain ways and trade that amongst people that you know and will value it, there's multiple ways to play this game, and you're not limited to playing it in just one way. And that's the other thing too. This idea that you're going to kill people off is kind of short-sighted. First of all, that's only going to work for brokies, because if you're here and already rich and just having the fun of it, I mean, you guys might just piss somebody off that is, just going to keep coming back and willing to spend ungodly amounts of money because they have different goals than you to make a point. Because again, we're in crypto, so what you get with not always getting the professional environment is you have to anticipate and be willing to deal with the weirdos and the crazies and the creeps. So I try to be multilingual, and I can be a little bit, for the show sometimes too, but I try to put a point or a message. Like, message matters. I try not to be frivolous. If I'm using my time, energy, attention for something, I got 4 kids. I got people that owe us $10 million since COVID for real estate deals. I got a baby mama that's running me through the ringer. I got friends with really cool ideas and projects and stuff that, like, I got cool shit that I want to do and get to. I don't want to be wasting my time any more than, I'm inevitably going to, because I'm a human being and I'm not going to pretend to be perfect. I'm just asking that we all aim up, aim better. So today's my birthday, so I'm a Sagittarian, 12/12. I say super Sagittarian, and the sign for that is literally an arrow up and to the right. So that's my goal. That's what I'm shooting for, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm grounded in gratitude. And it's not just for me; it's for my kids. Like, it's beyond me. I want to give my kids what I wish I had had the access to, based off of the experience that I have now, integrated on the understanding. So it's a game. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm not being like, whatever. You guys have seen me. I can have fun, but let's be human too. Let's remember that there are humans on the other side of the protocol. I've been accused of being condescending for my playfulness, but it's ironic when the person who's accusing me of that, there's people that are dealing with real stuff that literally are popped out of chats because they're being bullied, and the person who's accusing me of being condescending is being described as a stalker. And I'm seeing in third party. So, and he's not the first one. That's the thing. So that's the point where it's gone a little bit too far. I think we all kind of know that, and I think there's been, if once it's recognized, it's up to everyone to, like, what they're. But so my point is just pointing it out, and then everybody's going to do what they're due. I do appreciate those of you who have acknowledged it, and I think we aim up, we do better, and we'll clean up the trash as we need to, like, because it's, look, again, player experience is going to help determine the value of this, of where this, how much of this protocol's potential that it can reach, and it's going to be up to us to steward that experience. It's up to us to determine the value of cash. It's up to us to determine how the families are organized, the trade routes, how things are distributed. It's up to us to determine all of that, how we interact with each other in the game, in the Web2 physical streams and Telegram rooms, and in real life. It's literally all up to us. So I'm not here to tell you guys what to do. I'm not here to try to scare you into what to do. I'll be a little bit playful, and I'll try to point out that in the river of life, or the infinite, which is too big for most people, for any of us to comprehend, and there's multiple infinites, there's infinites within infinites. But before getting into that, use this metaphor. In the river of life, if you could have infinite choice and possibility, only the things that are going to only the things that are going to find a way to be self-sustaining are going to have the opportunity to continue further down that river of life. So you can be in error for a while, and you have opportunity to correct depending on how bad it is or whatever, to get back the tributary back into the main flow. But if you're going to spiral out into something that's literally by definition self-defeating, if you're going to try to bully, okay, let's say somebody comes in and conquers the whole game. You own the protocol. Cool. Now what? That's like playing Civilization with God mode. Like, it's fun for 2 minutes, but then you defeated the point of the game. So the long-term vision, that is definitely what I'm here for, and to do what I can, play my part, and try to help us all along. But in the exchange, we're getting the opportunity to set the
exchange.
prices there.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna have to share that screen. I need to look at this. Yeah, it was because I mean I was chatting to you in the morning, and then all of a sudden, where is it? Here it is.
God
And then
candle.
all of a sudden, look at that spike! Look at that! And I even said to you, I said, was that you?
Yeah.
Wow, that was insane. So basically, right, so you got 1,200 keys, right? Like you say, 12 your birthday. You managed to get 1,200 keys today. That raised a lot of eyebrows, right? It really did. It really did, because literally on stream last night, I was talking to Richie about keys, and the fact that, you know, some people have a few hundred keys here, a few hundred keys there, and they were kind of seen as like the threat to land tiles, right? So I think now, I think you've put your foot down now. I think you made a statement. And look, I know that you come from a place of, you know, a place of love, right?
No, trust me, guys.
But
I onboarded Takayo, and you guys are welcome, but also I apologize a little bit, and you guys might not even be fully aware, but because just our frames of reference, basically, you know, he's here playing a game, but he didn't realize how much of a whale he was just by our frames. It's funny, people are talking about my conversation in real life with my buddies are bemoaning the fact that we're penny pinching right now, and this is, you know, we're scraping for whatever just to at least participate until we can get things together. And then, yeah, I'm chuckling because, you know, the point that you're making, one of the comments I'd read when I popped into the Telegram was I can't even do math that high or something like that. And I'm like, oh guys, this is for fun. Like, I literally, my last real estate transaction was a package of 70 single family homes packaged up together. That's the one we executed. That's one I looked at was it was the biggest one I've looked at, but it was over 1,000. It was a hedge fund that had like 5 different, they were liquidating during COVID, whatever. But yeah, math is, it's fun, and past a certain point it gets crazy, and it starts to like make you seem crazy and not make sense. So I don't know. I'm gonna move on from math now, and we'll look at the pretty candle. I'm glad at least, you know. Oh, I'm gonna comment on this just off the cuff right now. At least there's a little bit of a bump that you guys came up, a little bit of a step up, but it really would have. It's fine. You guys want to bring it back down that low? It's gonna be so easy to just recycle. I went to West Point, but I technically failed high school due to absences and almost an art credit that whatever. I was emancipated. My photography teacher was like, "Nah, just go, man." And then my vice principal was like, "You got accepted to West Point." Side of thing, you just go. I technically failed due to absences. A lot of times, I was skipping school to play the World of Warcraft auction house because I played MMO. I played MUDs, multi-user dungeons, like for fun to escape what was going on in my family before. And then so gaming was my anesthetic to help keep my sanity and playground. But I played multi-user dungeons. Then when MMOs came out, that was great. So Final Fantasy 11 was the first one and then jumped into WoW before it got all padded to where now it's like conditioned. It's basically whatever. But after a certain point, I was like, man, I just got fun playing the marketplace. And then this is an iteration for me to be able to do that, but with crypto, and then to teach my kids, and then to also teach my business partners. So that's the other thing that I want to talk about, the educational aspect, because we can use this to teach people DeFi. That was the other future proof I was trying to think of, is the real world asset application, which is another phase of crypto that we're going into. And especially
well, I mean, so I don't want to cut you off, right? But I need to ask this question before it slips my mind. So, given your chosen career, right, or you know the fact that you're in real estate, so the chances of you being a city developer are quite high, then I would guess.
I mean, I think 1,200 keys would be enough to get. Jimmy Buffett has in Pirate Looks at 40, a lyric that's something like, had enough money to buy Miami, pissed it all away. I think 1,200 keys is enough for Miami and maybe 20% of Vegas. So there's a high probability, I would guess, that probably be a city developer somewhere. Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. Like I said, we got 3 new families that my buddy Takayo, I'm using this as a little bit of a platform of teaching him some of the other markets that we're in. His family, I'm going to leave private their sources of wealth, but you know, it's separate from the industry that we met each other over a decade ago. And there was a time where we were doing our own things, came back together right before the pandemic, and doing some real estate stuff together, but we've been pushed sideways so many different ways. But this is a way to actually kind of circle back, teach him fill in the gaps of some of the real estate stuff, and tie it into crypto and some of the things that we're already doing in a more fun way than the boring, dry ways that I would have had access to before, going over stuff that I already know, which is, this way I get to tie it into, again, the crypto gaming. I get to tie it into when I'm talking to my kids and teaching them real estate, and the educational aspect. You know, I'd mentioned something about the educational aspect at some point that Jacob appreciated enough that he DM'd me. He appreciated that something I said about education, but that is where I do intend to go once I get some of my stuff sorted out a little bit more, is to focus on utilizing this for its educational potentiality, to introduce a lot of my real estate friends, a lot of my people who have self-directed IRAs, people who want to get into crypto, people who want to get into crypto and real estate, to be able to utilize, again, the balance of those two things, especially within a 4-year market cycle. The ability, if you understand what you're doing, the ability to compound what you're doing is exponential. So that means if you're good at it, you have exponential good, but you're also exponential chance of burning yourself out. So careful playing with fire. Anyways, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to building a curriculum around real life business develop. So even the businesses, I'm curious about. So Jacob's doing on the gambling side, and I have some fun thoughts about those the mechanics. But for example, the shop, I talked about Collector's Corner. I have Pokemon cards that I traded a car for because my son woke me up from a nap one day and was like, telling me the stories of Ash Ketchum. And all my Pokemon cards that I worked for as a kid got pawned because my mother and her lifestyle. So he woke me up. I'm trolling Craigslist, and there's this lot of 30,000 Pokemon cards that somebody was like, 10 or 12 grand or trade for a car. And eventually, so I traded a car for that because I was like, this is something I do with my kid. We can sort through them, sell the doubles, teach him business a little bit. But the shop, the ability for me to set up a interface that's interoperable with, a digital physical. I'm curious how that's going to play out for somebody to be able to set up a mafia themed shop that has additional layers of participation.
Okay.
So if somebody set up a website that, is an extension of their shop in Miami where they're selling rare, collectible, digital, one-of-a-kind things that are valued in a certain way, that they're more likely to find that value within a certain community, they can set up, they can use Hart's Law and bond physical assets to a protocol through that bridge. So that's one idea for people to think about. I also have,
I like it.
in the music area, so Bryce Savage from Netflix. Oh yeah, the educational. So all of this time, and I forgot my whole announcement, which is the Leadership Academy. Sitting here
That's
talking
it. I was waiting for you to bring it up.
I forget. Yeah. So I'm a part of Peterson Academy. For anybody who's familiar with that, I'm going to be having my own leadership academy. I was born David Lee Durr. I went to West Point, which is the world's premier leadership academy. And I'm a father of 4 kiddos, and a spirit guide. If I take that seriously, then I have a role to lead them in a serious way. So, like it or not, I have some things to say about leadership. My leadership academy is going to be, it's going to be pre-launched through the families in Mafia. The people that are in the various families are that's going to be the pre-launch for the more structured, what I'm building out as I have time. So again, the things that I would want to pass on to my kids, the things that I would want to teach. So it's things of value it's my experience that I've integrated to try to offer as a buffet for people to utilize and build the sandbox that they want to play in. And so I'm going to have a structured leadership academy. So the Nice Mafia. Oh, so here's a shout out to the syndicate. As much as I'm not a fan of the fear mongering as a potential marketing tactic, because it's not self-sustaining, it's entropic by nature, I have to give kudos where it's due. And one of the things that we'll actually be integrating into our own systems is the structured tiered family system. So the Nice Mafia, the Dawn who's in charge of that, she's going to get to try out her philosophy of a Nice Mafia and what that would mean. Anybody's going to be welcome there. So there's going to be the interfamily dynamics associated with that. The compass points, which is a reference to a Dimension 20 episode. So compass points is a pirate's library. Again, that's going to be a more active participated, so there's going to be best practices, advised, but you're not going to be bound to follow them. But you are going to have to be, it's going to be centered around being there's going to be participation required to stay a part of it. But that's going to be like real life Dungeons and Dragons games that will eventually come in as streams or doing other things and reaching out to other communities, going to RenFest. I live right outside of the Texas RenFest. Plus we got Sherwood Festival in Austin another part of the year. I'm going to start to make that another, so we have Pulse Chain Tour. I hosted it, the Houston leg of it here, but they are going to be consolidating to more a yearly event in Vegas on 3, 6 through 9. So that'll be a springtime Hexagon event, and I'm going to start, pushing as an opportunity for other Hexagons to have available in the fall and the summer Renaissance festivals as another in-person meeting type deal for us to do. Will Stevenson from shout out to DJ Roundtable, and he has the Telegram chat Meeting Hexagons, which is for people who do want to start their own get-togethers, or they're saying, hey, I'm going to go play pool. Who wants to, over here? Who wants to? If anybody wants to stop by, he's a gearhead, and he is a perfect model of, in my opinion, he is one of the best models of community admin leadership, especially in a pure leadership position, which something at the academy that I got personal experience with, is it's not a fun one, because pure leadership is all of the responsibility with none of the authority. You got to earn the respect that people want to listen to you, but it's still your fault when shit's going sideways to clean up and fix. But Will has, and the whole DJ Roundtable. So the book club is one of my favorite spots in Hexaco. But we also got some gaming. There's a gaming. There's some gaming guilds around like Baldur's Gate. There's a Pirates game. I'm probably going to be doing, like I said, the D&D, and we'll get some Fortnite stuff going. And this is all opportunities for people to have access to, again, building groups of friends, groups within the community, for us to build a community ecology, for us to just have more direct access to how we're spending our time, energy, attention, and money. Because you could have 70 houses, and a judge could sign a piece of paper without you even being properly notified, and now you don't have 70 houses anymore, unless you pay an attorney hundreds of thousands of dollars to have a hearing to get that piece of paper reverted, to then spend hundreds of thousands of dollars more over a year to have attorneys lead you over a year and waste your time to have a trial to where maybe you'll own 70 houses again. Real life experience. So, and that's one of the things that a lot of people in crypto that are just thinking about number go up don't get, is your number can be as high as you want. It doesn't matter if somebody has their hands on a rug underneath you ready to pull it at any moment. So crypto gives us the opportunity to help get people's hands off the rug under our feet, have a little bit more direct access and control to how we're utilizing, maneuvering our assets, and being involved and participating in the real world as well. And yeah.
Hey, I think it's really exciting, right? I think it's, I mean, what can I say, right? Like you already kind of told me about this, and I've been thinking about it quite a bit, and I was like, okay, well,
I was going to mention the thing
it's pretty big, right? It's pretty big task.
Man, this is a unique time in history. I mean, I'm sure every time in history is a unique time, but this is really, it's an interesting time that we have. There's less excuse. Look, you have more access to more potential opportunity, more money, more data, more information, more computing power, more people and their creative ideas than almost anybody in human history ever had, literally at your fingertips. So I'm not saying there aren't problems out there, and I'm not saying, if it hurts, don't, if you got to cry a little, fine, cry it out, but don't spend all your time crying. There's less excuses to just sit back and cry about all the problems versus getting up off your butt and doing something. Anyways, Bryce Savage from Netflix is another guy that is doing like kind of for a music production mentoring program, but anyways, I'm going to be trying to cross-pollinate and tie that into, but even regardless, once we get the map update out, which is going to have great It's going to be a great paint palette for us to make videos and other marketing material from.
Exactly.
There's libraries of copyright-free material out there that, for example, people like Netflix have put 200 songs that, you know, for gamers and streamers to clip their gaming footage together. So if you look up GMV on YouTube, you'll see gamer music video. AMV is like anime music video. You got people like fan-made participation. I mentioned Dimension 20. They have other shows. Well, so they have fans that will actually, so they have the live action that they're doing, but they'll have fans that will animate and draw and like redo and add a different element that like gets added. That's another thing that we have access to here. You guys have direct control in this protocol, in this game. You guys have direct access to literally create how it's played. Like so man, this is really exciting stuff. I'm really excited to get to show my kids eventually like what they're going to have the opportunity to do and let them loot. You guys think I'm a hassle to deal with. Again, there's 4 more mini-me's that have half of my baby mama in there, so can world look out, because I can't think of anything more dangerous right now, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really exciting stuff. Like you say, because this game has longevity, I think that's exactly it, right? I mean, you're talking about your kids playing it. You know, my son, right? My son is he's almost 17. He can't wait to start playing this too. You know, and he's been a gamer since he's been God knows how big. You know, this is exactly one of those things. And I've approached it, and we've actually gone through like the wiki, and it's been okay. Like, look, this is what crypto is. This is what staking is. This is what yield is. You know, all of these sort of things. And so that's already clicked. So now it's just like, okay, well, let me see it in action. You know, and that's why now with the marketplace, and I mean, let me just bring this this exchange back up again, because there's already so many sells, like buys and sells of these. Like if you go here, if you click on the buy orders, all the buy orders, protocols buying this, boom, 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 boom. There's 13 pages of buy orders already, right? I mean, one thing I've been looking at really all day is the market cap, right? You know, this nice little. We should have known, really. I mean, us as like the players, we should have known as soon as all the individual items got their own market caps. We should have been like, okay, like, you know, cash. The market cap for cash is coming.
That's what I loved about his decks too. I've loved his decks. I've loved his exchange. I've loved the interoperability. I've loved the base idea of what he's doing with social validation. Jake, I've loved that he's looking at CCIP and cross-chain interoperability. Jacob has done so many notable things with this project and development. So just doing a laundry list there real quick, FYI, y'all. This is not small potatoes. Any one of those is noteworthy. Continue.
Yeah, but that's again this I say this quite often. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that's one of the reasons why I'm so interested in the stuff that Jacob does. Right, everything he puts his hand to is pretty much first time ever. You know, first time ever, or first time ever thinking the way how we could put this and this together. Right, he has a very good relationship with the Chainlink guys. When BNB Pot first launched, you know, obviously BNB Pot uses Chainlink as the oracle over there and the RNG and everything. So Jacob got on, you know, he's on first name basis with the Chainlink team, and even they came back to him and said, you know what, do you actually know what you've done here? Like, this is really, really good, right? You know, he's had Ethereum white hats reach out to him and say, we've had a look at the contracts for the casino projects. They're really, really good, you know. So if those type of level people are, you know, they're saying that stuff to him, then like, and I've said this again, I'll say it again, that's the horse I want to back, you know. That's absolutely the horse I want to back. And he's building cool stuff that is really entertaining too. It's literally like Kool-Aid said, you know, you're being paid to be entertained at this thing.
Exactly.
You know,
I was just remembering one of my first.
It's full on, like
one of my first conversations with Kool-Aid. So I got to listen to him. He came to in a little bit, buddy. Sorry, my puppy's distracting me for a moment. He came to a karaoke event here in Houston, and I also met him at the Dallas Pulse Chain tour. Went to 3 meetups in Austin. Didn't see him there until his birthday, where got to help him do some stuff. But one of my first, so I got to watch him at the karaoke event, and then at Dallas event, I asked him, because I've been percolating on the idea. My kids did Skylanders, and so Disney Infinity, Lego Dimensions, the Toys to Life, which is basically an NFC chip built into a figurine. So the kid puts it on a platform. They can play in the game if you have the actual figurine. So that makes it to where parents get to buy, makes it a collect. But then the way they sell it to the parents is your kids are now attached to that figure, and when you turn off screen time, they have a physical thing to continue playing with, and that there is a value to that.
Yeah, I get that.
My kids loved it. So the toys a lot, and it was a fad. It kind of phased out. There was a lot of interesting developments within it, but it was a very contained. It didn't hit kind of saturation to where mass awareness. But especially during the NFT craze, I was thinking about how easy it would be to take one of those NFC chips, put it into a physical 3D printable figurine for D&D players, to where now you have a physical figurine that can interact with the digital blockchain. You only have access to being able to do your campaign or to do this thing or whatever if you have that thing. So it makes a physical asset that's tied to it in that way. You could do this with art and QR codes, etc., a little bit. But even beyond D&D or 3D printable, I mean, this game provides opportunities to that. Like I said, if you created characters that, or wallets with wallets that were created for characters with this in mind, the Pulse tokens that Maddie's been a part of or whatever is maybe another idea of this. I have a bunch of these things that I work on and make myself. But you could put an NFC chip into something physical that has actual aesthetic value, whatever, or just it's fun. But if somebody wants to have so if there's a family that has a unique asset or a unique vault position or pet or whatever, you can literally create trading cards, trading figurines through this protocol, through this game. There's business opportunities for you guys. So when I'm talking about, that could be a shop, it could be a character shop that somebody decides to turn their shop. But it's like, I don't know. So there's a lot of potential here, and it's interesting to see where it's
I like the
going to
idea
go.
of some Mafia merch. Get that Mafia merch out there.
But and it's always it's all subject to change. That's the thing too. No expectations. We're literally playing the guessing game, and it's educated guessing, thankfully, and well educated guessing in what I've been able to observe so far, at least from the development side. But yeah, this is chaos, chaos. But it's chaos can serve a purpose too, and it's a creative realm. So you guys have the opportunity to come. For me, I'm the love and light guy, but I got stuff that I'm dealing with, and especially the way you guys act, even with my advocacies, it does. One of the personal values is it gives me a place to come and vent some of my, some of the dark habits that I've soaked up or absorbed or habituated or infected a little bit, vent it out of my system, but in a way that's controlled and productive, that's serving a purpose, that is actually, I can measure, is it moving towards a goal that I'm aiming at versus just thrashing about widely. I know it might look like I'm being cryptic and nonsensical. People, oh my goodness, people are upset because I'm putting cryptic posts in a Telegram crypto channel. Guys, I'm fighting real life adversaries, jaded baby mamas, the US government. Here's a great here's another thing I forgot. I'm under a gag order right now, and I'm under felony charges for violating that gag order, on top of fighting for my kids and all the other stuff I'm doing, trying to build this playground here with you guys. Like, I'm fighting real stuff. I'm fighting the gag order. I'm actually fighting on a constitutional level. Richard Hart's not the only one out here fighting potentially precedent setting legal cases. Honestly, didn't go picking this fight. I got dragged into it because my kids got caught in the middle of it. And I'm at the point to where I could be selfish and it's been so rough. I could just be like, okay, once I get my kid, and then just check out. But I'm like, man, I'm in the blessed position to be able to do something about this. I know how much first of all, I'm grateful that we're blessed regardless. But I know how much arbitrary damage there was, and I know how many other families are destroyed and not in a position to do anything about it. So me being in a position to do something that could affect the process by which families are processed, it feels like a moral obligation to me. So I'm going to take the extra time, energy, effort, headaches to actually go fight Uncle Sam. I fought for him. He trained me to fight fairly well, but anyways. But no,
but I mean, do you have a good support network as well to help you through all this? I'm asking personally.
Look, I've got Hexaco. I've got these guys that are in the room here with me now. I've got my 4 kiddos. I've got me. I've always had me, thankfully. My dad, I met him. I looked him up whenever the internet came around. I was around 10. It's one of the first things I did was looked him up. Met him for a little while. moved him up down here during COVID. He passed away a couple months ago. My uncle passed away a couple weeks ago. I'm dealing with the fallout from baby mama getting bored during COVID. So there's a lot of fallout. And there's some friends who I have had frictions with who may or may not make it through some of the fallout. But again, I stay blessed. I'm okay. My kids are going to be okay. I've got these guys here, and I've got all y'all, like me or not, because I I had a soldier tell me that I put the DYOR in endurance, and all the stress that I've had happen today, I've actually I I hadn't cried in a while, but I broke down twice today. Once was, and they were both good ones. Once was actually right before I popped on, Master Poe. I caught a song that he had made for me, and shared in one of the chats, and it was just I have another song that was commissioned by one of my favorite artists for me. That's a personal thing, and this one hit at the same or maybe even a deeper level than that. But the other one, I was in between crises and driving, and I didn't know the crises I was about to hit whenever I got to where I was going. So I was just having a moment to think. I was playing Fortnite with my son yesterday, my youngest son, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, did you see I put your nickname as Unkillable Dad?" I was like, and right before all of this, 3 years ago, right before baby mama did what she did, basically kidnapped them to use as leverage during the divorce, but to win. And her parents were in a church, so there's that aspect of it as well. But 3 years ago, he had told me, he's like, he just looked up at me and does it. He's like, "You're unkillable. That's your superpower." And it stuck with me because as a dad, first of all, like, of course you want your kids to think that, but then me, I'm also like, oh, I know how much it's gonna hurt when that is ripped from you and you find out how mortal I actually am. But I hope to hold that I was glad that he saw me that. And then so he told me that 3 years ago. But there's a Rick and Morty scene where they have a fortune cookie fight, and one of the powers is, "Oh, you can't kill me. I'm unkillable." He's like, "It's not as cool as you think." Hits him with a Gatling gun. He's like, "Oh, I can feel like yes, you still feel all the pain, even though you don't die." But when my son reminded me yesterday that he still sees me as unkillable. I mean, man, that's what it's here for. Like I said, I'm a forefather first. That's what I'm doing all this, and if I fail at everything else, but I give them the opportunity to do what they want to do, then I've done my job.
That's cool, man. Really, that's cool. I like that.
I do have a good support network, is to answer your question.
Good.
I am just sad by those that I still love that have fallen out of it.
Oh, well, they said that time heals. Hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah. Time is a powerful force,
yeah,
for sure.
It is. Speaking of powerful forces, right? I'm going to absolutely segue, or this might be a nice little segue. Who knows? What do you think about Signum Oracles nearly here?
We have been waiting for it since the launch of Pulse Chain, whether people realize it or not. There are so many critical protocols that are dependent on a price fetch Oracle foundation in order to just be able to operate. I know Richie had mentioned the alternative potentialities of utilizing an integrated DEX like PulseX as a semi-pseudo Oracle in some of its functions, but that's only semi and pseudo. The Oracle itself is going to provide like so many things that, again, so many people I don't think even realize what they're waiting on, because they hear a story that sounds cool to them, and then if they're not curious, they get bored until the people who are building it actually do it. But if they're curious and they go down the road, there's so many things that are dependent on those protocols, and the team behind it, stellar team. Because that's worth taking a moment to point out as well, because there was another team that was promising an Oracle well before all of this. As a matter of fact, I believe they raised. I believe they were. No. I'm going to change my language just to be friendly for everyone. I believe they were in possession of a substantial amount of money after sacrifices for other things that they may or may not, have been needed or intended to use. Like, they had money, so I don't know why the Oracle didn't happen. I don't want to, and again, I'm not claiming that they raised it for anything, because we wouldn't do that here. That's silly. But no, I'm glad that we have a good team that seems a little less shady, seems a little bit more transparent, has put it built in a way to where it can be a decentralized protocol, to where, again, it's up to the participants to decide how it is going to be executed, literally. So the health of the network is going to be decided by the community. It's a beautiful thing, and they're prioritizing in a way too. I know that, so specifically tying into the Mafia protocol, because I know you had an update on Signum before, and since we're talking about Mafia, its relevancy, you can correct me where I'm wrong, but the cliff notes I gave for the people who the audio issues was that Signum was coming along. However, some of the RNG capabilities that Jacob would like to potentially outsource to a third party, even though Jacob has his own RNG, with PulseBot and other things capabilities, just out of a sense of best principles and responsible stewardship from him, not giving people the opportunity of the attack vectors, some of those RNG capacities that he would like to potentially have outsourced, and was looking at potentially Signum as one of those solution sets. That may still be what ends up, and we have time. This is all in development. Anything can change at any moment. But Stu and all of them have a lot on their plate with just what they're doing with the Oracle. So for everybody, that's likely not going to be their first priority. GIF had mentioned that maybe he knew another team that might have the potentiality or the capacity for if Mafia hits, needs that before Signum is potentially in the spot to deliver, then there's other ways that we can look at it. But the Oracle, again, going back to the parity talk, which is essentially just another way of talking about Hart's law. How are things bonded? Parity is just one form of bonding. The cross chain plays is one attempt at parity. The PDI narratives that people are talking about is another attempt at parity. There was another one. There's like 4. Get permeable tokens, Gifferware, the stuff that they're doing is attempt at utilizing Hart's law in an implemented way to create levers and pulleys for people to execute and create bonding there. And then we have Mafia and everything that it's doing as well. And then but an oracle is going to is the way that crypto has been able to be cross-compatible already. So bringing that into our ecosystem is literally critical infrastructure. And I think
it is absolutely
a lot of people are going to be
really critical.
A lot of people are going to be surprised by how much is just springboarded off of that, because Pulse Chain is as active as it is, literally running on what it is. Like this is build as you go. And there's a lot of critical infrastructure that other people wouldn't even be able to start building without it in place. But we've already got so much already in place, in the works to come. And once we get this groundwork laid and we keep going, it's good stuff. I love it.
Yeah, it is. I just put in the chat there, I just put the Signum Oracle's address, the website in there, just for anyone that wants to have a look. Basically, the Signum pre-sale is now on, right? It's now on. And I think the premise is that whatever you buy, I think you're buying like 10% under whatever launch price is going to be. So, look, the first truly, the first decentralized Oracle that comes on the Pulse chain is going to do quite well, I think, right? It's not just, we kind of need it really for our RNG components, and that might not be, at the initial launch, it probably won't be suitable for everything that we need, like most of the stuff that we need, but we have ways around that, and we have time, right? We have time. We're not in a hurry. So if it's a thing that anyone wants to go and have a look, go and have a look.
It's also a middle road between, Pulse chain hardware validator and waiting for all of the ecology and economy of a social gaming network, social validator to come out. It's a middle road to be able to software validate, essentially.
Yeah. We got Abdul in the house here. He said, "I'm here for the tech." Well, if you are here for the tech, Fast Abdul, then you have to look at the tech at Pulse Mafia, man, because it is next level, right? Most popular, most successful NFT marketplace on Pulse Chain, right? And it's in our little world, right? It's basically, we got dexes, we got order books, we got a metaverse coming, right? It's a one-stop shop, isn't it? It has absolutely everything that goes on in crypto, and we have it all under one wrapper. It's perfect.
Is tech your new word for bribes, Mr. Fast Abdul? Because if memory serves me correctly, you were pretty fascinated with bribes for a while, but now you're in it for the tech. So
he loves it. He's not in a family yet, as far as I know, and we've touched on it a few times. I think he's shy to bite the bullet at this stage. But
I don't know if
don't
he's
worry,
shy or just
we have
chill and
time.
taking his time and waiting
Yeah,
for his
exactly.
cabana girl to bring him 5 different drinks and 5 different cups in 5 minutes. Things that have literally happened if you watch this guy. Anyways, this
Cool.
community is great, guys.
There's a lot of stuff happening. I'm actually looking at your profile here. I won't share the screen, but I'm looking at your profile here, right? And it says here that right now, you are richer than God, right? You're in that category. You're based in Chicago with the GearHeads. So Miami is, like you said, Miami's going to be a big focus for you. Yeah, going to be interesting. So how then are the GearHeads going to be fitting into your grand vision? Are you going to be playing the GearHeads and also in these other families, or are you, how do you plan on splitting your time, should we say?
That's a good question, and it's one I am as excited to find out as probably many of you guys are. But Gearheads has a lot of good people. I've onboarded several, people into Gearheads, and my character as well as those people are still there. But like I said, we have networks. I have more people that I want to get to, and the families that are created under, people coming into this under, even though, so Takayo and me are still in Gearheads, they set up families in Miami basically under the framework of conversation that Takayo and I had introduced to them. So
Mm-hmm.
even though there's no expectations in crypto, because it's up to you at the end of the day, people that I know in real life, if we've exchanged, and they're coming into this, they're trusting, they're participating, they have some expectation of safety, security from us. And from my conversations with Kool-Aid, whenever we were talking, because like I said, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I've talked to the Dons that I can, but he's able to talk to the Dons that literally told me to fuck off half a dozen times today in their chat. But apparently, the idea was that Pulse Chain was going to be kind of protected as a premier build. See, this is what was communicated to me. So whether you trust it or not, I don't know. It's up to you. Because anybody could do anything. That's the thing. I don't want to give false promises or expectations. But
Sure.
the idea
Understood.
that we have the opportunity to show the potential and to show all the things that we do here, and I'm not going to call it a safe space because this is a mafia game. That would be disingenuous of me to give anybody those false pretenses. But we are going to be praying. Like I said, we got an open family under the Nice Mafia. We have a more structured family that is going to have participation required to be a part of it. And then those are both my buddies. Takayo's buddy running the Iron Bank. There might be some savagery there. I'm just gonna put it that way. But I'm trying to do it in a way that is good for the community and not just totally and utterly left uncontrolled. But guys, go ahead, kill me if you can. Good luck. I'm unkillable. But the worst thing that happen is you succeed, because I have a lot of friends who like me for various reasons because I'm crazy, and they're crazy or more dangerous than me, or crazier in different ways at least. So the worst thing you could do is succeed and piss off somebody who likes me, and then they will go to links that I won't even go to. But that's just as a general FYI, as a futility of using fear and threats as some kind of end game in real life, even much less in a mafia game where literally you can't get rid of people permanently, unless you just annoy the hell out of them, which you always risk the threat of, if you tyrannize people bad enough, they're willing to hurt themselves in order to get at you. That's a Jordan Peterson quote. It's really worth knowing. Actually, here's my favorite one. And I don't know how much time you actually want to do to this, but at the academy, they made us memorize paragraphs of things as a part of our plea knowledge. But my favorite one is Schofield's definition of discipline. Okay. So I could do the V for Vendetta, voila, and view a humble vaudevillian alliteration. But my favorite thing to recite is Schofield's definition of discipline. And this is actually the gestalt of what I would like to share. And it's going to be pushed through the philosophy of the Leadership Academy. Because it's a guiding leadership principle that if you understand it, as a father, as a businessman, as a military commander, as a mob family, then you're likely to be much more successful. All right, let me remember really quickly. The discipline which makes the soldiers of a free country reliable in battle is not to be gained by harsh or tyrannical treatment. On the contrary, such treatment is far more likely to destroy than to make an army. It is possible to impart instructions and to give commands in such a manner and tone of voice to inspire in the soldier no feeling but an intense desire to obey, while the opposite manner and tone of voice cannot fail but to inspire resentment and a desire to disobey. The one mode or the other of dealing with subordinates springs from a corresponding spirit within the breast of the commander. He who feels and hence manifests the respect which is due to others cannot fail but to inspire in them regard for himself, while he who feels and hence manifests disrespect towards his others, especially his subordinates, cannot fail but to inspire hatred against himself. Major General John M. Schofield, dressed for quartets, blah, 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 blah. But basically, if you're going to be authoritarian, like even the people that are working for you are not going to like you because you're an asshole, and it's just not going to work. So guys, yeah, good leadership is more than fear and threats and tyranny. It's not going to work. So I'm just going to offer that. There's a time for a well-placed threat, ideally one that, as a forefather, I'll tell you my rules for threats with my kids. I don't make any threats that I'm not willing to follow through on, willing and capable, and understand the consequences ahead of time. But that's just my extra calculations as a father and trying to take my duty seriously. But Schofield's definition of discipline is something that I literally wish every like parent, business leader, that especially Steve Jobs, one of the worst things he did, a lot of cool things, but one of the worst things that he did was he created this whole fucking generation of Silicon Valley entrepreneurs who thought that they needed to be an asshole in order to get shit done. And that's just not the efficient way. Here's the thing is, people who are trying to create new things, visionaries, sometimes they come across as an asshole due to misunderstanding, and sometimes they need to be an asshole. But if you're an asshole all the time, I mean, you got to be making something fucking literally world changing in order for people to tolerate that, and most of you aren't. So anyways, nice.
That's fair. That's fair. It is. Look, I think like we touched on earlier, we're going to see a hell of a lot more things happen in this game before we even get to launch, right? Again, right. So now that this exchange has gone live, we can already see people are changing their attitudes a little bit in the telegrams. To be perfectly honest, two of the people that argued the most in the telegrams have been here in this chat, and they seem to be agreeing with you, right? So again, they seem to be agreeing with you almost straight away. Almost straight away, right? So let's see if this is the seed that starts to change things. So we have that, right? As soon as the kill simulator comes out, right? So when people learn how difficult and how time consuming and resource consuming it is to actually go through the trouble of killing someone, is it actually worth it in the end? So there's no option but to get along in that.
And at a certain point, it'll be like, this talk is unnecessary. Kill somebody or shut up.
Exactly.
Like the real gangsters aren't going to have the tolerance or the patience for the arbitrary stuff, because we're going to be busy again trying to develop cities, teach people how to come in and do all this. Like we're going to be trying to do things, so the wastes of time are going to have less room to run rampant.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to have that whole secondary type of game where it literally is that, right? Just shut up and just go and do it already.
Just do it or shut up.
See what happens, right? So you're going to have that too. And then, like you say, if people start creating their own content around this, maybe to throw mythos. I know that that GIF and Kool-Aid were talking about taking this sort of to a next level. And and creating some lore around the whole thing. So then what will happen? Well, how will people be arguing then in the lore? Maybe that's where you keep that type of conversation. Have the avatars doing all the shit talking.
It's gonna have to level up, because if you're just shit talking in a non-entertaining way, people aren't gonna pay you any attention, because there's gonna be all of these really entertaining jokes and like rap battles or beefs that's gonna, or people making comedies or just whatever reality shows. In real life, there's going to be something that's more engaging, so you're going to have to be better one way or the other. Even if you're intent on being petty in this game, which, like I said, hey, it could be a useful outlet for that, for whatever purposes. At least be good at it.
Have you seen the Pulse Tube? Their little animations they do with Richard and Summy. Have you seen those? Pulse.
It's not drawing anything specifically to my mind right now.
It's on. I saw it on X. I think it's called Pulse 2. It's basically someone has created this AI sort of cartoon, right? And it's got it's got like these characters. So Richard is there, Somi is there, and all the voices are done like AI generated as well. And I saw one yesterday, and Richard was scolding Somi and B-Roots because they weren't getting along about the PDI narrative. He's scolding the two of them. He's like, look, he's your brother. You just have to get along. Right? So, if that sort of thing could absolutely be done for Mafia, right? For these avatars.
Absolutely.
All of these type of things can happen. There's a whole massive world out there, right? And it's literally, we need the game to go live so we can actually say where everybody really is going to stand. You can make all the best plans, right? you can make all the best plans, and then you can just kind of fuck it up.
Plans of mice and men. Yep.
Yeah.
You can plan. Planning is planning. Yeah. Execution is execution. They're two different things.
And actually, execution is two different things, right? Especially in this case.
Yep.
No, cool. Hey, brother, look, we've been going for an hour and 17. I have to say, really, thank you so much for this, right? We definitely have to do it again. I know we've been trying, we've been trying to set this one up for a while, but hey, I wish you the best, and we will absolutely be in touch again. Like, I mean, we're in touch all the time anyway, but we'll definitely be doing another one of these. The closer we get to map update, I was going to set up like another commission, right? The Don's meeting. Ready for Matt, but now that it's actually good that we've had this little delay, because I know some of the guys have other things on. I know Kool-Aid is got family, and Christmas is here, and all that sort of stuff. So
this is the middle of a three in a row stream for you. So that's
I actually have another one in 12 hours with someone new, right? Again, with someone new, someone who looks at Mafia, likes the look of it, and we're going to have a bit of a good old chat. So it's good fun, man. It's really good fun.
That deserves a round of applause.
Oh, thanks very much. Thanks very much. There's a lot going on. There's really a lot going on. It's perfect. I'm loving it. But the closer we get to having something physical that people can actually really like do and play, I mean, that's when the floodgates open.
Absolutely. I do apologize, everyone. I'm not as polished as I would have liked to have been. That was part of my delays, was not having the time to want to sit down and be, but I'm glad my birthday came and I used it as the excuse to just do it anyways, because otherwise it might be months before I got around to it. So I'm glad that I got the opportunity to share this time with you guys. The community, there's a lot of cool things going on, and I'm excited. This is good stuff. And we got the holidays, we got bull market coming, and we've got ourselves another day. Hope every day that we wake up is a day to be grateful and thankful.
I agree with that. Absolutely, I agree with that. I'll drink to that.
Boom. Cheers.
Everybody watching, if you're watching us on X, please like and retweet this. If you're watching us on YouTube, like, obviously, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. If you're watching us on Twitch, thank you very much. Consider interacting with us in the comments over here, and we can get that rolling. If you are new to Mafia and you really kind of don't know, that you kind of just stumbled across the stream, go into Telegrams, visit t.me/PLS Mafia or t.me/BNB Mafia Game. Right? Like, subscribe. You can contact me. You can reach out directly. My DMs are open. It's KvltDeFi pretty much everywhere. Right? You're easy enough to find. If you like what we do, and look, I think we're 330 subscribers, something like that, right? I need to get those numbers up, right? Need to put those numbers up, because this is non-monetized channel, right? And this takes a lot of time and effort to do all this kind of stuff. So if you like what we do, you can consider donating to the channel. You can do that by visiting KvltDeFi.pls, or there is an address in the description, right? That's kind of it. Really, there's good things happening with Mafia. Go and check out the exchange, right? The exchange, absolutely. I was really, frankly, I was fucking shocked. I have to say, right? I was shocked. Number one, with $20,000 purchase of keys, right? Which is just is really insane. I think that's where the math, when he said I can't even count that high, I think he was talking about the physical amount of PLS, right? Because it was like 270 or 260,000 pulse, right? Which again, absolutely huge number. We like those kind of numbers. Yeah, we like those kind of numbers, and and then cash itself, right? Just cash itself. I think this in itself is. I'm kind of stumped for words, right? Because cash in itself, it's always been said that the in-game economy will eventually like blitz the token by itself, right? Without bullets in health, this is a mafia token, and it's really kind of looking that way, right? There's a lot of money being spent. There's a lot of money being spent already today. I mean, largely, yes, you've helped that along the way, but I can see the floodgates are kind of opening already. I'm looking at all these numbers down here.
Cash is the mechanics, the levers, the pulleys by which we will incentivize the behavior that we're looking to, because that's how we incentivize the behavior. So, and the people that are able to steward their resources, their time, energy, attention, participation in the protocol, their relationships, their cash, their land tiles, their inventory, their mouth, so that they don't piss off, someone that they don't need to. Those people are going to have the opportunity to make, to use the exchange to make mafia, as well as to invest in the protocol and to get the pull sealed. So there's the cash and the exchange. The cash is giving us how is behavior incentivized, and that's again at the base layer of what this protocol is providing. One other thing so X prizes are incentive driven competitions. That's another thing that I'm looking at on top of crypto. Is eventually Peter Diamandis literally started the private space industry with the first X Prize that was $10 million back in, and it's a great story. The math behind X Prizes are awesome because they incentivize small teams to come together and solve problems and what's great is they end up usually a lot more gets invested into the problem than the prize purse, because you get multiple teams, they get multiple, the ones that are viable end up getting investors, and you end up getting multiple competitors that come out of, like, a lot of times the prize purse actually is less than, or people have invested more than what they end up ending in the prize purse. That was what initiated getting into putting together and having, solving whatever problem it is. They've done things on education, they've done things on oil spill. This year, they've launched the biggest X Prize ever. There was one for $100 million, and then one of the investors on the longevity X Prize said, all right, I'm going to put it, there were two that were $100 million, and somebody in the longevity research X Prize said, I'm going to put another $1 million so that the longevity one is the biggest X Prize ever. So there's an X Prize that has been launched in the past year. It's a 7-year X Prize for a team to come together, meet certain markers in longevity research for $101 million prize purse. Pulse Chain raised $27 million for the Sense Foundation, which has moved to the new foundation, et cetera. And that work is still going, even with the corporate nonsense that went on behind that. SciVive is alive and real is another part of all of this. So, but cash is what drives the incentive. It's how we drive the incentive-driven competition of this game. So it ties into a lot of, again, I just remembered that other big meta thing that I'm working on, and it's also for people who aren't aware of X Prizes and longevity research, and you're genuinely curious about that, something worth looking into. But boom, I pushed this almost to an hour and a half, so I'm gonna let you do your outros before I interrupt again. And
no, that was kind of it, really. Yeah, hey guys, listen, just go over to Pulse Mafia or BNB Mafia. Just have a look. Really, right now you can create a character for $1.50, or I think it's like 50 cents on BNB. Create a character, start or join a family. You can you can buy keys to open crates, and you can buy and sell things on the marketplace. You can build up your inventory literally just by scraping the marketplace, getting things for pretty much the cost, as long as it's less than the price of opening of a crate or of a key yourself, then you're doing absolutely fine. You can do all of that. You can hoard keys ready for land tiles. When land tiles go on sale, I really don't think people realize, a lot of people don't realize the value of a good land tile, what it's going to be. We saw that, I think the most expensive business item that I saw for sale was probably about $4,000 or $5,000. I think a really good land tile in a really good position, something that might already have, if it's a critical space, I think we're going to eclipse those numbers. I'll talk about it all the time. I think we'll be in the teens of thousands for sure.
Especially once network effect has a chance to get past the deceptive point, hit the knee of the curve, and then everything gets hard to conceptualize.
Exactly. So it's really going that way, and also, I mean, look, I haven't tried to sell anything to the protocol, even just to test it out. I've got a bunch of in-game cash, but I don't want to do it. I want to hoard my cash, right? I want to hoard it. I want to hoard it for now because it's basically number go up, right?
And
number go up.
And after the map comes out, we'll start being able to have a way to start utilizing it, to start investing it for future yield once, you know, city inflation is coming, et cetera. Actually, I'm curious. Here's a question. You may know. So after the map comes out, we're going to start, there will eventually be buildings, et cetera. We'll be able to update them. Are we going to start
city inflation starts?
It starts. Thank you.
It starts. So, you know, so
we're going to have
if you got a good space. Yeah.
Thank you.
If you got a good space, it's basically you're just the number in your bank is just going bum 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 bum. Yeah. That's it.
Makes sense. I mean, the family vault is doing it, so it makes sense that those mechanics work. I just hadn't thought about it until now. It's like I thought about the fact that could start before it could start out. I was like, nope. Yeah. So good mental note.
Well, there we go. I will say one more thing then. Anyone that's playing the game currently and has their eyes on being a city developer, I think we're having a conversation about one right now. Okay, so it might be, again, look, you don't know. These city developers might start their own little group. Technically, I mean, they could literally start their own family, and they could have a headquarter in pretty much every city, right? They could literally be that kind of family.
It would be a useful title for me to leverage my real estate experience with my real estate network and to introduce my real estate friends to crypto through this protocol. So
I like that. That's pretty cool. All right, boys and girls, thank you very much for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Look, join the Telegrams, reach out to us, and yeah, we'll just do it that way. Cool. I'll catch you in the green room, brother. Hang on a sec.
Yes, sir.
Giffordware, it's an honor.
Got an anonymous tip, boss.
This is it. We stage the heist tonight.
And keep an eye on Kool-Aid. He's been known to water the plants.
Let's keep the plants out of this and focus on the job.
All right, Johnny, I'm sorry.
Keep that change, you filthy animal.